This is 32 WLKY Louisville, 32 for you. Now, Channel 32 News, The Late Report.
Good evening, I'm Curtis Jackson. Steve Bergen has the weekend off. Our big story tonight, a New Albany man is charged with walking into a restaurant, gunning down his wife, and then shooting a police officer. Police believe John Engel tried to settle a score with his wife and then shot a patrolman who got in his way. Here's Dave Hansen.
Gunshots shattered a Saturday afternoon and turned part of New Albany into a police manhunt zone.
It's heartbreaking, really, that he would, go in there and do something like that to her.
Horrifying, too, for patrons at Tommy Lancaster's restaurant who watched John Engel walk in, pull out a gun, and shoot his estranged wife, Debbie.
And then he shot 5 more times into her, 5 or 6 more times. He unloaded his clip, so we thought he was going to kill us.
A short time after the shooting, a New Albany police officer spotted John Engel at this corner at 15th and Dewey Streets. Now, a witness says that the officer stopped Engel right here, ordered him to put his hands up. Engel complied, but in a matter of seconds, he turned the tables on the patrolman.
Then the suspect just knocked the gun out of his hand down here.
Out of the officer's hand?
Yeah.
Knocked the gun out of his hand. Then what happened?
And then he had his own gun, then he got it out of his shirt and shot him.
Before Engel ran, police say 4 shots hit patrolman Russell Witt. A 5th is lodged in his cruiser. That triggered a major manhunt as SWAT team members and sharpshooters fanned out to comb streets and warehouses. Engel gave himself up near this tent on the Ohio River.
He come up over the riverbank, and the officer was sitting there.
Outside Tommy Lancaster's, friends say that John Engel had been stalking and threatening his wife.
And I told her she better stay away from him and leave him, stay completely away and don't even see him or don't go home.
Police say Debbie got a protection order this week. Still, she didn't feel safe.
Well, Thursday she told me that she might just take off and move to Florida to get away from him before something did happen to her.
The worst did, and now a patrolman is fighting for his life in Floyd County's hospital because he apparently got in the way. Dave Hansen, 32 for you.
Doctors say one bullet got around Russell Witt's protective vest and lodged into the left side of his chest. Doctors will leave the bullet in Witt for now because it's too dangerous to remove. Witt is in stable condition in Floyd Memorial Hospital. Police are charging John Engel with murder and attempted murder. Well, the man who killed someone outside a Dairy Mart this morning is still on the loose. 41-year-old Raymond Douglas was gunned down around 2 o'clock this morning. Neighbors who knew Douglas say police need to do something about the violence in their area.
I don't even expect to live to see my 20th, and I'm 19. I don't even expect to see my 20th, player.
You want to do something to change that?
Ain't nothing I can do to change. That's where I live. I ain't never gonna change where I live, cuz, never. I'm gonna be over forever, and I ain't scared to die.
Douglas was shot in the neck. He died at the scene. So far, police have made no arrest. It's been 3 days since 7-year-old Morgan Violi was kidnapped from in front of her home at a Bowling Green apartment building. Police and federal agents still have no solid leads. As each day passes, family and community remain optimistic. Rob Fauché reports tonight from Bowling Green.
Stacy Violi walks alone, slowly past the place she last saw Morgan play and past hundreds of yellow ribbons, all paying tribute to her 7-year-old daughter. The only interruption is a long embrace with friends. Yellow ribbons are a common thread throughout the Colony Apartments complex, tied to car antennas, bushes, trees, nearly everywhere. Stuffed animals and candles are delicately tied to a tree in Morgan's front yard. The outpouring of love the last 3 days has been overwhelming.
And I appreciate everything everybody's done. They've just been outstanding. It boggles my mind to think that people care, by people they don't even know. It's just wonderful.
Some people who do know the Violis say they feel as if they've lost one of their own and are not about to give up faith.
And my kids are very hopeful that she's going to return and that they'll see Morgan again.
Are you that same way?
I am. My children have been praying for her, my husband, all of us.
The FBI hasn't released any new information about Morgan's disappearance. This is the most recent sketch of the suspect. Morgan's picture, along with the details surrounding her kidnapping, were put on the internet yesterday.
We still believe that somewhere she's out there, and she's going to come back. I really believe.
Since her disappearance, Morgan's family and community have relied on love and hope. And hope is something neither will give up on until Morgan is safely back home. In Bowling Green, Kentucky, Rob Fauché, 32 for you.
Anyone with any information concerning Morgan Violi is asked to call the FBI in Louisville or their closest law enforcement agency. Whoever planted the deadly pipe bomb at the Olympics may have left crucial evidence behind. Evidence that may help investigators find out who is responsible. Troy Roberts has more.
The city that has trained as hard for this Olympics as any athlete woke up with its greatest fears realized.
This is not Southern hospitality. This is not what we wanted to offer the world.
What Atlanta had offered the world, what it used to lure the games, was a city that is a model of harmony. That symbolic message of the Olympics shattered today.
That makes me angry that they would choose the Olympics to do something like this.
Fears of an exodus from the city never materialized. Hotels lost few guests, but added National Guardsmen. With the heart of the downtown behind barricades, visitors crowded into side streets, and sidewalk businesses prospered. Fans arrived for events at Olympic venues, though in smaller numbers than yesterday.
You know, it's so sad, and you don't want to think about it. Of course, you're not going to forget it, but you want to be able to concentrate on the reason that you came as well.
Atlanta officials believe the Olympic spirit is stronger than any terrorist strike.
In addition, we continued to sell tickets to upcoming events, and the scalpers were well represented.
One of Atlanta's favorite symbols for itself is that of the legendary Phoenix, the city that rose from the ashes. Once again, Atlanta needs to believe in its never say die self-reinvention. Troy Roberts, CBS News, Atlanta.
A popular underground shopping area in Atlanta was evacuated earlier today after a suspicious bag was found. But after a 3.5-hour scare, the incident turned out to be a false alarm. 32 for You's Don Ward is among the thousands attending the Olympic Games this week. He is on vacation there and managed to call us with the latest details of what's been happening in Atlanta since the explosion.
That's one of the areas that access to which was open to anyone. Anyone in Atlanta could just walk in there, no tickets, no security checks. For that reason, it was probably more vulnerable than a lot of the venues themselves. To get into any venue, you have to have a ticket, you have to be checked through security. Security which has been tightened noticeably in the hours since that explosion occurred this morning at the track and field venue, perhaps the most popular venue here on this second weekend of the Olympics. The security line to get into the Olympic Stadium complex, along with Fulton County Stadium, which is where the baseball competition is being held, was about a quarter to a half a mile long this morning at 9:15 when the track and field was supposed to be starting. It took an hour for fans to get through that line, to get checked individually. All bags had to be opened and to pass through metal detectors, at the end of which you were then allowed into the venue. So the security has been noticeably and significantly heightened since the explosion last night. As far as the fans themselves are concerned, we have talked to some people who had friends or relatives that were supposed to come with them who said, no, we're not coming. They were a little bit frightened by what has happened. Others, though, have said the terrorism, the attack is not going to dampen the spirits of the Olympics here.
A Louisville woman and her daughter are being careful while attending the games. Marcy Sims and her daughter are in Decatur, which is about 15 minutes from Atlanta. Last night, they heard the bomb explode. Marcy spoke with 32's Lori Lyle earlier today.
Everybody has just been wonderful, and then for sickness to do something like this, it really is a bad thing.
A year from now, 2 years from now, when you look back on this time, what will you think about? Will you think about the games? Will you think about the bomb?
I hope I think about the games, and I hope I don't let what has happened with so many innocent people being hurt and the few who have been killed, I hope I don't let that overshadow the fun I have had here.
Marcy is now worried about getting home. Her 14-year-old daughter does not have a picture ID, which has been required at Atlanta's airport since last week's TWA explosion. Another woman is suing tobacco giant Philip Morris for sexual harassment. Elizabeth Reynolds is accusing her supervisor, John Spradling, of attaching lewd pictures to computer printouts. Reynolds is the second woman to sue Philip Morris for sexual harassment. Last week, a jury awarded Mary Wilson with $2 million. Wilson says she was forced to leave Philip Morris because the company ignored her complaints of sexual harassment. Reynolds also